Hi, and in this video I wanted to go over my thoughts on the new origins of the Xenomorphs and the idea that they were a biological weapon created by the engineers or David. Now, in the first Alien film we come across a mysterious signal that belongs to an unknown alien vessel that contained unknown life forms. This led to one of the crewmen, Kane, getting what we now know as a facehugger attached to his face, which planted an embryo and then gave birth to a chest burster, which then developed into the popular Xenomorph. This Xenomorph was a terrifying force of nature that worked its way through the air vents and through the darkness and killed off the crew one by one until it was disposed of by Ripley in the lifeboat. In the second film, we see the company send Marines back to the same planet, which they now call LV-426, where they found this unknown ship. We still don't know where the Xenomorphs come from, but we do learn that just like bees or ants, they have a hive system and a queen that lays eggs. All these Xenomorphs, on the absence of a queen, can just turn into a queen or come from an egg or facehugger, which then births from a host. Despite this and the sequels to follow, Alien 3 and Resurrection, we still had no idea where the Xenomorph came from, and it was still an unknown terror that lurked in the depths of space, albeit mankind didn't discover the Xenomorph until they went further out into space. We then learn in the prequel films that the Juggernaut in Alien was a pilot from an alien civilization called the Engineers, and that the Xenomorph came from the black goo, or David, an android who experimented on this black goo. For me, I'd prefer to have had the Xenomorphs remain a mystery, because I always felt that despite mankind's hubris in conquering the stars, the Xenomorph laid out a cautionary warning. Kind of like the opening of Pandora's box, the risk of exploring the unknown. A curiosity killed the cat situation. A kind of situation or story where humans seek out life in a universe, and the Xenomorph is kind of like a story that says, be careful what you wish for. Instead of finding aliens that say, take us to your leader, or gives us new technologies, or is friendly, like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, we get a terrifying force of nature that only eats and breeds and cannot be negotiated with or reasoned with. And most horrifying of all, lays an embryo in you, which then bursts out your chest. What's terrifying about encountering a Xenomorph is there are literally 3 ways you could die whilst encountering one. You could get eaten, or 2, if you shoot the thing, you could get killed by severe acid burns due to its blood being acid, or 3, it'll take you alive back to the hive where you get impregnated by a parasite which then bursts out your chest, becoming another Xenomorph. The Xenomorph didn't need an engineer or black goo to exist, as on Earth we have bugs that are of a parasitic nature and act very much like the xenomorphs, in the sense of whether that be hive system or a parasitic delivery system of impregnation. Because just with many scientific ideas, it worked because it was very feasible in what it was for. Because, for example, according to science, some of the most sophisticated life forms in the universe would either be reptilian or insect, not just mammal. Despite man's advancements, if a cataclysm happened on Earth, for example, insects will still be going happily along. The xenomorph, like I said, you don't need to explain where it comes from. You could have just kept it as a creature of nature, and insects that originate from an undiscovered planet. Ironically also, these aliens would have probably stayed on their home world. And maybe the only reason why the xenomorph is no longer on their planet is because of the Juggernaut or the engineers. Could have done it that way. Therefore, this would also have worked as another cautionary tale of the risks of dabbling with nature. If they left the xenomorphs on their home world, for example, then the universe may have been safe. And that, because of curiosity, they are now loose upon the universe. Unfortunately, in today's modern climate, things can't be left unexplained. People want things to be explained. However, people like myself, who were born in the 80s or born watching well-made science fiction films, love a good mystery. We don't want it to be explained. We don't need it to be explained. The idea of a good sci-fi is to allow one's imagination to come up with the answers or explore the possibilities. What makes a xenomorph fascinating and terrifying at the same time, because it's an unknown terror that loves or could be lurking anywhere in the shadows of space or the darkness of space. A kind of idea harking back to the concept of cosmic horror, a force that is not evil nor good, but indifferent, a force that is merely following its basic instinct. It also highlights a cautionary tale of our ignorance and dependence on technology, and that despite all our advanced weapons and technology, these xenomorphs rely on none. They have evolved with all the tools they need. As Ash said, a perfect organism. And ironically, despite all the guns and weapons that they have, they then go back to a basic idea of from the hunter-gatherer years, with the idea of using fire, because we all know even on a basic level that most animals are scared of fire. Now, some may not like the hive idea and have it as a lone organism, but the idea of a xenomorph coming from an egg which is laid by a queen makes better sense for an origin point, and is very much close to nature as an intelligent system. It makes sense. Just look at bees, wasps and ants, etc. Despite the lack of technology, these hive insects still have sophistication and efficiency. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the new idea, however. This is just my personal opinion. let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you like to have left its origins open and unexplained, or do you like the idea, the new direction that Ridley Scott took it in? Pardon me. Going forward, it would be interesting to see which direction Disney goes with. So with that, thanks for watching, take care and be well.